Hello? Is anybody here? Is nobody here?
Tony's here.
Oh, hi, Tony. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Is it a beautiful day there? Are you in Houston?
I'm I'm just south of the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Dallas. Okay. Good. Is it beautiful there?
It is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, isn't it wonderful?
Yes.
Oh, man. And who else is here?
When I came on, it said that there was one other person. But what
yes. It must be one of those silent angels, don't you think?
And you know what I should do is, how about if I call Suzanne?
How about if you call Suzanne?
Yeah, and I'll remind her just in case.
Okay. Well, let's see if this is her. Who just came on?
Hargo Ben.
Hi, Hargo Ben.
Hey, Siri Gian, how you doing?
Good, good.
Good.
Okay, Tony.
Okay, over and out.
Okay.
Roger that.
And who else just came on? Hello? Hello, who's here?
Put in your car.
Say that again, dear.
Put in your car.
Put in your car. The one I always say. Who is this?
Yes.
Good. Welcome, dear.
Thank you.
And who else?
Ranjit.
Bhakti?
Ranjit.
Oh, would you spell that, please?
Yes, it's Ranjit. R-A-N-J-I-T.
Oh, Ranjit.
Yes.
Oh, welcome, dear.
Hello, thank you.
Hargoben's here.
Hey, Ranjit.
Hey.
And I saw that Guru Ravi was on the phone last night, on the webinar with Amandeep. That was fun.
I was unable to.
Oh, you were? Oh,
I
fabulous.
wasn't there. I tried to connect. It wouldn't allow me on my iPad, so unfortunately I was not able to connect.
Oh, darn.
I know.
So we'll ask Makaram about that.
Oh,
okay. I'm just making a note.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Oh, we have lots more people coming. Who's here?
Saranam.
Hi, Saranam.
Hi.
How you doing?
Oh, okay.
On this beautiful day in Southern California. Huh?
It's beautiful. It's just like energetically, it just feels a little crazy.
Oh, really? Like confusing or energy's changing quickly or?
I think it's, we're in the middle of that Grand Cross where everything's butting up. That's what it feels like.
Where everything is what?
Butting up against, the Grand Cross. Yeah. So energetically, so this is my theory for today. I'm just not going to believe anything my mind tells me.
What a wonderful exercise. I love it. We're all going to have...
Huh? But it can go on and tell me anything it wants, but I'm just not going to believe it today.
That would be a wonderful idea. Wednesdays are Don't Believe Mine Day. I love that. Thank you, dear.
Okay.
And who else is on?
Carol from Juneau.
Hi, Carol from Juneau. Glad to have you, dear.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. And who else is here?
Guru Simran.
Siri Simran?
Guru Simran.
Oh, Guru. How do I hear that wrong every time?
I don't know.
How are you?
Okay. I've got some major surgery coming up, so
Oh, man.
ask for a little extra blessings here.
Okay. Well, we're going to send you some heart breath.
Okay, that'd be great.
So, good to have you. And who else is here? Who else is here? There were a lot of dings a little earlier.
Well,
Anybody?
Tony's back.
Huh?
Tony's back.
Oh, good. Tony's back. Did you bring Suzanne?
I left her a voicemail.
Boy, I'm not hearing well today.
I left her a voicemail.
Oh, okay. Good. Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And who else is here?
Suzanne?
Oh, that's why Suzanne was here. And who else? Anybody else? Oh, there's another ding. Anybody? Who's here? Hello? It's so fun getting to know who's in our community today. Well, everybody is, but to see who's showing up, that's really delicious. So, who just came on?
Shy person.
I beg your pardon?
I said a shy person.
I think so. Who are you, dear? I think it's another silent angel. That's who I think it is. Okay, so God bless everybody. And so let's get going. Please sit straight. Feel that wonderful backbone. Stacked. Vertebrae stacked one on top of the other. Remember when children build towers? Well, this is your magnificent tower. Begin breathing. Long, deep breath. Long, deep breath. That powers the energy. Good. And somebody seems to be moving stuff around, sort of near their microphone.
It's my puppies running.
Your puppies? Aw.
I'll mute in a bit, but right now they're running around.
Okay. I think it wasn't the puppies. It sounds more like a book or pages or something. Good. Long, deep breathing. And I will ask people to be very mindful of the sound. What? Okay, I was just saying, I'm asking people to be very mindful of the sounds in your background during this call, because when there's a lot of sounds, it's really distracting to me, and I lose. What is going on? I don't know, but it's apropos my speech here.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay, somebody's pushing a lot of buttons here. So anyway, when there's background noise during the talk, it really distracts me, and I lose the train of communication with Baba Siri Chand. So please help me out, okay? Be very mindful of that. Okay, so you're sitting straight, doing long, deep breathing. That's it. Long, long, deep breathing, moving that prana. Breathing from the belly, out the nose. And being very aware of what we're doing, we are tuning in to the infinite. Yes, people, the infinite. And to our golden chain of teachers. So please inhale. Long, deep breathing. That's it. Long, deep breathing. That's it. And now begin heart breath. That is long, deep breathing. On the exhale, feel as though the air is coming out of your heart center. Good. And let your heart center open. Let yourself be aware. Good. And now send this beautiful heart breath to everybody on the call, whether they are on live now, whether they're listening to the recording in the future. One beautiful conglomeration of healing energy. Good. And now, please give a direction to this beautiful combined, mechanism of healing grace. And when we do this, every time you make your own personal intention, it carries the full weight, the full power of the combined energy. So now, please send this to your own personal intention. Keep up the heart breath. That's it. Keep up the heart breath. Good, good. And now please send this beautiful heart breath to all the leaders of this country. And if you're from another country, please include them as well. That the leaders may understand that to serve the people and not their own pockets and prowess. Good. Keep up. And now also please send your heart breath to the Middle East. And I'm also hearing the Sudan. Send your heart breath. Good. Letting go of hurt. Very specifically, he is saying letting go of hurt. Good. And inhale. And exhale. And breathe. And you can continue to do your heart breath. Okay, sir. He says, yes. We are talking about this earth again. This beautiful green earth. It is green in some places, it is blue in other places, and it is brown in other places. He says, keep up your breath. He says, but it is of all one heart. He says, what a beautiful participation in Earth Day yesterday. He says there were so many kind intentions, so much compassion for each other and for this beautiful planet that we involve ourselves in called Earth. Keep up. He says right now, he says he would like everybody to do heart breath for Mother and for this Earth. He says, you know, Mother is so much bigger than Earth because, you know, Mother is still, he calls her the creatrix, bringing into creation. He says, how many galaxies are there? He says, I don't really count. He says, but you know, there are tons of them. He says, this is the creatrix of all creation. So don't leave anything out. But understand that she is your mother. Very, very revived, very alive and abundant in this Mother Earth. Keep up. open your heart to this Mother Earth, to this planet that is our home. He says it is a place of redundancies. He says it is a place of chain reactions. It is a place of great awareness and great plenty. He says you often would not know it the way people fight with each other. For some reason, they've gone beyond the point of gratitude, beyond the point of we have enough. We are content. Letting go of the squalor that can accompany loss of heart. Keep up the breath. He says, now this squalor that I'm talking about, he says it can flow through all of the prosperity levels. All of the income levels. In other words, do you think that people who are so rich and are into controlling the other 99%, do you suppose that every one of those is totally happy? Or do you feel that there might be some little squalor left in there? He says, well, it is true. He says, I'm sorry to say it, but they are part of the mix. Okay. He says what he would like for all of us to do is to claim the great prosperity of our own heart. Claim the great prosperity of our own heart. Feel that right now. He said, you don't have to just get by. And he's not talking about just economic terms. He's talking about your emotional life. He says your love life. When he's talking about your love life, he's just, well, the sex life is included, but he's mostly talking about the flow and the ex-quantum amount of love. He says, as you can quantify it, that flows from your own heart and that which you accept. He says, just pay attention to that right now. He says, you, as encapsulating the great mother, the great father, he says, the more you understand that, the more you live that, the more you understand that you are the great prosperous offspring of all that there is. Can you understand that? You are the prosperous offspring of all there is. Breathe with that for a minute. That means that is your inheritance. And he says you should never be shy about that. He says you must live it. You must live it. How else can you expand into this great inheritance? You must live your inheritance. Now, he's not saying to walk among others as though they mean nothing. He says, heck no. He says they're all your brothers and sisters, and you all get equal, infinite inheritance. Do you understand? So as you allow, he calls it allow claimants, he says, to your infinite share, he says that can only help you if you help your brothers and sisters also claim. He says it means becoming the steward of existence. We understand, we're becoming very conscious of what it means to be a steward of the earth, because we have gone too far in our excesses, our patterns of giving away, of being unconscious on this physical level. He says humanity has a habit of going too far, and then it does what it can to pull itself back. he says, of course, there are many who still deny their excesses because they are not aware of the infinite inheritance. They're only aware of their small greenback inheritance. He says, but oh, my darlings, he says, I'm not denying the greenback inheritance. He says, you all have access to open withdrawal if you will just relax in it. He says, but if in any case that open withdrawal hurts any other of your planetary brothers or sisters, he says, you must kindly go back to zero and start again. When he says zero, he's talking about neutrality. He is talking about greed. He's talking about letting go of our need to possess. Let's say that again. He's talking about letting go of our need to possess in favor of our need to enjoy. There's a difference. There is a difference. He says, how can an outdoorsman be totally content with a cabin and a backpack and a small garden out back? He says, when a billionaire is not content with all of their earnings, quote, earnings, how can that be? He says, contentment is the name of the game. Contentment is the name of the game. Keep up the breath. Just feel that. He says, never feel bad about having the greenbacks flow. He says they cover you. He says they cover those in need. Yogi Bhajan said, if nobody is rich, who will build the hospitals and schools? Are you up for building the hospitals and schools? Are you up for giving kindness and shelter to your siblings? By the way, in this, all of your cousins and parents and offspring are all what you might call your siblings on the larger level. Strangers, people whose values you never could have imagined, they are your siblings. So please relax and let the love flow. Let the love flow, the recognition of shared humanity, the recognition of shared humanity with your shared source, Ma and Pa. Ma and Pa. We are one family on this planet, even if we don't get it yet. But it is up to us in our consciousness, not in our preaching, but in our consciousness to accept this unity, this oneness, this one family. He says, this is who you are. This is the kindness, the openness of who you are. And when you accept that, then the idea of composting what doesn't work, what tears apart the world, what inundates the world and takes away, grabs out, drains out the coziness. You understand that to be the great flaw of humanity. The great flaw of humanity is that we pull the plug on our coziness. If you didn't pull the plug on your coziness, what would your life be? feel it for a minute. Does that mean that when another person is upset, or they're growling at you, or there's yet another law made that drains the pockets of the people, that you should get up in arms? Well, he says yes. What kind of up in arms are you going to get? Is it going to be the kind of up in arms that robs you even more of your coziness? With anger, with hatred, with annoyance, with cutting them out of the herd, so to speak. You don't belong here. Or is it the kind of up in arms that brings consciousness, that brings clarity, that brings coziness and unity, that instructs, that puts a halt to projects, consciousness, that drain the coziness out of humanity? Which is it? He says, you see, he says, taking action is a very good virtue, very good situation. He says, the question is, how do you do it? He says, if you react to them with hurt, with fear, with name-calling for an eternity, he says, where does that get you? He says, it just pulls the plug on your own coziness. So what? He says, but when you stand for the truth, he says, when you join with others, whether that be emails, whether that be letting others know, whether that means lobbying, whether that means making yourself apparent at the city council or with the neighborhood groups or your family group. The object is to create the coziness in your neighborhood, in your world, with others, but from a place of coziness. So that others, first of all, so that you will understand it, so that you will not give up your coziness in order to guard your coziness. He says, what kind of a roundabout is that? He says, but it is to join from the heart. He says, put me in it. Baba Siri Chand says, put me in it. He says, to join from the heart, to promote and protect each other with kindness, with very sophisticated understanding about how things work. He says, for instance, you can't get, if you seek to limit all of the cash flow to a person who is absolutely sharing in their own modality, like ending yellow fever in Africa with all their millions and billions, and so on, then maybe that's a good thing, right? But maybe if there is no sharing and one just keeps stockpiling in order to control, maybe that's a feeling of unfit power. And perhaps there are ways that could redesign that situation. You see, you still live in a country that at least proclaims to have laws made by the people. The important thing is that the people listen to their souls, they listen to the heart of truth, that we listen to the heart of truth that comes from soul. And I'm going to tell you, he says, that it will be surprising. It will be surprising. There will be things that you never heard of before. He says, because your very soul is going to be very specific, case by case. It will open the world of love to you in a way that you never considered. It will open the world of love to you to spread so that others may dive in. Even if in the past you may have judged a person so creepy that they are not worthy of your love, he says there's no such thing. There will be no world change if you lock anybody out. Let me repeat. There will be no world change if you lock anybody out of your purview of love. Now, he says, now this love is basically what we do with heart breath. This love contains forgiveness. He says, I'm not saying that if a person is polluting the oceans, if they are hurting a child, if they are spreading mayhem, that as you love them, you allow them to continue. He says, no. He says you send the love so they may be softened, so they may understand the heart, the root of true prosperity that they frankly are seeking. You see? You send them the love that they may experience that, but you find ways to limit the harmful activity. Do you understand? He says hate is a way to degrade the world. Do you understand? Hate and judgment are the ways to degrade the world. He says, now I'm going to tell you there is a difference between judgment and discernment. Judgment is the way the mind says you are either in my group or you are not in my group. It's a very tribal reaction. He says, but understanding who your actual tribe is very important. Your tribe is universal. Once you understand that, then judgment drops. There is no one who is not in your tribe. Do you understand? And you seek to heal. You seek to offer healing to everyone in the tribe that comes in the form of the energy of the prana that flows from your heart, from the heart breath, which is love. On the other hand, discernment, again, we're addressing the mind, is when your mind engages soul. And says, soul, please figure this out for me, because I don't think I'm going about it the right way. I am judging. So you drop the judging and you say, soul, what is the truth? The TRUTH of this situation, and how do I interact with it? How do I hold my part with it? Do you see? This is discernment. And then you will find that soul will either give you the answer in a nugget, oh my God, so clear and so quick, and then all of the understandings flow from that nugget, or you may find that soul will help you unravel that conundrum piece by piece by piece, until there is a mental change, a change in that you can actually feel in your body, in your heart, and in your mind, so that you truly understand the truth of what is happening, rather than using, he says, that is how soul uses a scalpel, rather than our old system of judgment, which uses a bludgeon. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? But it takes humility. humility from the mind to let go of the old overpowering habits that we have gained from our, he calls it our secular tribe, but he means our, how can I say, our small-mindedness, and allows the greater glory, the greater resonance, that we are all of the same human family, and that we all, at our hearts, are looking for kindness, prosperity, coziness in our own way. He calls it the trick. When he says trick, he means like one of those puzzle boxes. What is the trick that opens all the locks? What is it that opens all the locks to the coziness, kindness, and the prosperity? It starts at home. It starts with each one of us. To relax in the coziness that flows through us and let it be shared in an unlimited manner. It doesn't mean that we have to feed every person in the world, but when the opportunity arises, we know who we are to feed. And that includes food, drink, housing, all the necessities of life, in whatever way it is shared. And that could be in the obvious ways, or it could be, for instance, creating longer, free meals. It could be in simply being kind to the people around us, in our family, or that we meet on the street, or the salesperson. We could say thank you and smile. He says to the tech person we call on the phone and who can't find our problem, he says, patience pays. Don't forget, patience pays. Keep up the breath. He says, open yourselves now. Open yourselves now to the great prosperity that flows through you. He says, if you have a consciousness of this sort, he says, be so grateful. Be so grateful to take on the role of the elder siblings who help the others. He says, I'm not talking about age, I'm talking about consciousness. Be grateful for your position as an elder sibling, as a wise sibling, to offer this understanding, this openness to your younger consciousness siblings. He says, I'm not putting anybody down by saying they are younger. Doesn't mean they're stupid, right? It means they are cherished. Keep up your heart breath and know who you are. Know that you bring this great flood of kindness, of light, of humanity. Hu meaning light, man meaning mind. The light of the mind, the soul in partnership with the mind, to this great changing universe of ours. Breathe, please. And in that way, my dear ones, accept your prosperity. Accept your prosperity. Breathe. He says one more thing. He says, laugh a lot, love a lot. Laugh a lot, love a lot. Good. And inhale. And exhale. And here we are. Here we are, sweet ones. He says, we've been talking about sharing for this whole time. He says, and now, who will share their experience? Who will share their experience?
Siri Gian?
Yes. Hi, dear.
Hi, I can share.
Oh, good. This is Guru Ravi.
Guru Ravi, And again, this was just so right on, so perfect. And my meditation this morning, I had these two ideas that felt conflicted, and it was so perfect that it was spoken about. And the one idea, and it's more of an experience, is that no one should be excluded. And lately I've been hearing and seeing a lot of teachings. It's like, get out of the drama and surround yourself with peaceful people, and like cut the people out of your life that are creating problems or and then my experience is that that you don't exclude anyone. So it was so beautiful to hear that said again and stated in that really perfect way, that the world can't change if we lock anyone out of our flow of love, or perfume, I think Baba Ji said, of love.
Oh, yeah. So what
and then
was Go ahead.
Oh, and last night with Amandeep, talking about staying in the company of those that are intoxicated with the divine.
Yes.
So I saw that kind of as a conflict. It's sort of like, okay, stay, in that company, and thinking it was more of a excluding some people and just staying with people that are in that intoxication. So that was kind of what I woke up with this morning, that so feeling a conflict inside, and I feel like I have an experience of it now, like a way to be in the company of those intoxicated with the divine, always with your soul. I see that as soul. And not locking anyone out, but keeping that flow going through soul, through the heart center, to those that are really in most need of it, because if someone is acting out drama or acting in a way that's maybe not the best possible way to react in that moment, or not react at all, but if you're being attacked, whatever it is, to just know that that person is in the most need of love at that moment.
That's right. So maybe being in the company of the holy means that you are drawn to that you thrive in that is your source, but that you don't say that nobody else can come in. You are continually inviting others in with your love, with your kindness, and so on. Could that be a possibility?
Yeah, it's excellent. Like the elder sibling, and that really hit home too. In that the way you said it, a different way of saying that, to invite others in instead of excluding.
Good. Well, thank you, dear. I love that.
Oh, thank you. I love it. It's always so amazing how each of us are spoken to. The heart is spoken to for whatever it is that we're going through, and of course, what we need to hear, we vibrate highly with it, and everything else kind of drops away. And then another person takes that into their heart. In this community, you can just feel that happening and see it happening. It's just beautiful.
And he says, this is the way the Aquarian age happens. He said, have you ever seen those late night celebrations where everybody brings a candle and they light one candle, and then everybody lights off each other's candles? He says, that's the way the Aquarian age works. Good. Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much.
Now, who else can share? Who else can share? Ranjit, could you share? Ranjit, are you here?
say Ranji?
I did.
Yes, I'm here. Hi. Oh, I absolutely loved that. I loved Guru Ravi's sharing. It was very touching, and
yes, it was.
Really sent all of that whole message home. Mm-hmm. There were some things that really stood out to me, and I think that the few of them were that I was a steward of the earth, and that was, that really came home, and I also loved to not give up my coziness by trying to guard it, and I loved that because that was like that just really spoke to my heart. I love my coziness, and and I thought that was so good that the coziness is for everybody, and everybody is welcome. And my tribe is the world, and no one is excluded. And the so many good life lessons today, as usual. But today was just a lot of ringing in my ears with just a lot of wonderful, expansive thoughts that we already know, but bringing them all together in such a big lesson. And I think my favorite was that I was expanding into my great infinite inheritance. And that was so amazing. I mean, that's so blessed. It's just so, it was expansive.
Oh, good.
So, yes, thank you.
So do you or does anybody else have any ideas of how to do that on a practical level? With intention, with meditation, with changing habits,
I think
changing outlooks?
For me, I think are you talking about the expanding into the, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
that
into the infinite inheritance.
I think the first thing that we need to do is we just need to allow it. I think that's something. I don't think we can sit in meditation with it, but I think that we need to become aware that it's there, and it's always been there for us. It's always been there. And so I think in order to tap into that, I think we first have to allow it, and I think to be in constant cognizance that it's there. It's there for each and every one of us, and nobody will be left out. Like nobody can have more than someone else. You know what I mean? It's like if you have so much more, I'm not going to have less. I'm going to have as much as I can have, as much as I want. I can have as much of that expansiveness as I allow into my life. So I think it's allowing and being aware of it.
I think that's a wonderful thing. Allowing, that's a real mechanism. Allowing, not being jealous, not judging, not putting limits.
And it makes it so easy.
I want to ask you, does that mean that everybody should have the same bank account?
No, I don't think so.
What does it mean?
I think that everybody, because we're all so different, and you gave the great analogy in the beginning of someone being perfectly content to be a backpacker and sleep under the stars and live out of their backpack, and someone else has huge mansions and whatever. But it's like I think the thing that makes it different is, as you said, as being the older sibling, that we look out for everybody else. So if you're someone who has a lot, I think a lot is expected that you will share with everybody what you have. But I think that there's as much out there as everybody could possibly want. But you need to know what you want to allow into your life, because we can be as impoverished as we allow ourselves to be, or we can be as open and accepting of, and by impoverished, I'm not talking dollars, I'm talking, dollars of course too, but I'm talking in our wisdom, in our light, and everything that we have. So that's what I think.
Wonderful. Does anybody have anything else they would like to add to that? Sadanam, would you like to share with us? star 6. Sadhanam?
I think I got double muted there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
I was out walking this morning. It was interesting what Guru Ravi was saying, and that conflict between the ecstasy and not excluding anyone. And from the space I think from childhood, I've had this sense of always including everybody. And, and which sounds like a really good thing to do. But from me, I realized as I traced it back, it was coming from an incomplete space where I witnessed something that made me decide that, if we include everybody, but we don't share that company of the ecstasy with them, then we're just not doing them any good. Does that make sense?
Well, could you explain it a little more?
If we're going to take the viewpoint of not excluding everybody, don't stay down with those people who are really down. Include them, bring them into that company of the ecstasy.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, we're not doing them any good. I mean, we may feel like a humanitarian, like, okay, I'm doing them a favor, but no matter how much we do it, we'll never feel fulfilled because it's coming from some space inside us where we really need to do that when we really need to heal the need to do that.
Okay.
This is getting confused. This is getting confusing.
Keep talking.
I think I can make a little sense of this. This is Suzanne.
Okay.
Can I add on to that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, you get hung up, right? Okay. So it's hard to say it, but I'm going to say I was a part of let's say a study group, and we were studying a concept that made people very uncomfortable and angry. I did not know how to communicate it, but I felt very at ease with the conversation, and yet I didn't know how to help someone else feel that way. But I was frustrated by it. And then along comes Rachmani and Tomas, and she comes and speaks about his death. And she gave me like a light bulb of answers. Because, like Sadhanam is saying, somehow I feel like if I could help this group of people understand something of this concept, then there would be more light shared. Does that make sense, Sadhanam? She's probably on star 6.
No, I see from your position.
Okay.
From your space, you feel like you have to give them more light.
Well, I wouldn't have known how, so I heard that. It made me a little more comfortable with it. Then this morning I heard on the NPR, Diane Rehm starts talking about poetry and the language of the soul and how it brings light to humanity. And there it was again. I went, oh, my God. So it's not about me. It just means that my ears were ready to hear something that I might share with some people, that it might bring them another way of seeing, another way of hearing. And so I thought it was very funny that I happened to turn it on. So I came late to the program because I wanted to hear as much as I could, because I thought it was information that I needed or that I could share with somebody in an unintimidating way that I hope I'm making any kind of sense here.
No, I think I understand what you're saying.
Okay. It was just a tool that came my way, and I think that might be how Spirit works.
I think what I was talking about is on the level of maybe you yourself having that desire to have to do that. If it's coming from a space of incompletion and deep need to do that, and it's not a complete space, then you're not doing them any good, and you never will fulfill doing it. And maybe I shouldn't be saying you because that's my space. not necessarily. I'm not saying that that's what you were doing, but that's what I was saying. That where you're giving, where you're not excluding people. What is the space inside yourself? What is that? If it's coming from an incomplete space and a need to make people feel good, and what happens is we come down to their level and maybe we just don't do anything for them. Where if you bring them into this, if you're into this company of the ecstasy, then you like Amandeep Singh last night was saying, you raise the vibration. So that's maybe a better way of saying it. What is your vibration as you're doing this?
Or what is your intention? Intention
yes.
has a lot to do with that.
But what is behind your intention?
Right.
And if it goes back to a deep need to have to do this because something happened to you a long time ago where you thought that that's how you saved the world, that trace it back. Where does that need come from, and complete with that?
So, Sadanam, are you saying that you just do heart breath and let it flow, whatever soul brings you to? Or you be in your ecstasy and let it flow and see what happens?
Yes, not have what you were saying earlier was just so beautiful about the mind engages the soul, in every situation. And sometimes that means that self-inquiry of where this is coming from, but not having, allowing, if you come from the space of the soul and that space of the company of the ecstasy, that higher vibration, then there's no cloudiness, no muckiness in how you're including everybody.
That's right. And Suzanne, I know you do heart breath all the time. I know it has a great effect because you've told us about it. So when you were talking to your study group, would it be as simple as saying, this is my experience, rather than you should do this? Would it be that simple?
Oh yeah, I backed away from all of it, but I felt negligent, or I didn't know how to speak of it, so I didn't say anything to them. So I was looking for ways to communicate. So Ron, what's it?
Guru Ravi.
Mani and this particular program gave me another way of hearing, or a way to express it to not be confrontational, or to express it in, how do you find a way to communicate? So that's what I've been looking for. How does one communicate? And then it bugged me that I didn't know how. At some point there is a responsibility or something that comes in that I'm listening. I'm looking for a way. If it came my way, I didn't even know how to say it to you. So I'm surely not going to say it to a bunch of people. And it's also a concept that I'm working with. So,
but you're discerning from soul, right? How to do this, and soul is giving you answers, including Diane Ream's show.
That's what I thought was funny, that the answers do come if you sit back and listen.
Yes,
that made me think it and know it and trust it. So, in its time, it comes.
And that's one of those candles lit from another candle. It just continues.
Yeah.
And the ecstasy opens. And the forgiveness and the love occur. They allow. How delightful to be with all of you. I'm just so grateful to be with all of you, with Baba Siri Chand. Baba Siri Chand is just sitting here and says, listen to all my buddies, all my children. He's so happy. So God bless you all. And he says there is deep gratitude. There is deep gratitude for all who listen, who flow, who develop, who expand in this way. He says it truly is a force flowing through this Aquarian age. And so he's grateful for all who allow it and all who open to it. So thank you. So God bless you all, and let's send our heart breath to all of our brothers and sisters, all of humanity. As we sing this song to each other, to all of our brothers and sisters. And inhale. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Inhale. And bow to your coziness, your river flow, your ocean flow of love and coziness. Bless you all, and talk to you next week.
Have fun.
Satnam.